Okay, I'm Gene Rench. I work at the National Weather Service, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm the hydrologist there. I forecast the floods that we have in the Mid-South for not only the Mississippi River, but the 52 counties that we work in. And the Mississippi River, though, being the main problem for us. I've been in the Weather Service 42 years. I am an agronomist, meteorologist, some kind of a hydrologist, and a climatologist. Like a farmer. You know a little bit about a lot, about everything, you know, you have to. Anyway, that's the way it ended up. And I have been working since 2008 or 7 in the water or the flood part. And how long do I have? What's my cutoff time? Could somebody give me
30 minutes, a little less now, probably,
30 minutes?
I'll look it up here.
Could somebody keep time, give me 5 minutes? Because I'll start talking and I'll get me the right stuff. Anyway, I've been in the South the whole 42 years of my weather service. I used to direct the Mid-South Agriculture Weather Service Center, provide soil temperature forecast, evaporation, a lot of these things which farmers need. But in 1992, they decided you didn't need that kind of thing. So they moved me to Memphis, and I ended up being the hydrologist. Okay, I'm going to use this. Right now, I'm not going to tell you anything new here. You all know that the flood risk is always changing. Has been changing for centuries, and it still is. And but recently, and I'm going to say recent is from 1992 to 2015, I've noticed by looking at the records that there are more records being set in this time frame compared to 1950s. And some of you can remember the 50s, some can't. But anyway, floods more often these past 25 years. And Jimmy then brought up a good point. Why in the world are we getting 48.7 in July? That's not right. So you got a mess on your hands. And I looked at that and I said, whoa. So I started looking at the data, and I showed some of it to Jimmy, and Jimmy said, you need to share this with people. Anyway, Crests are higher now than they were compared to 51 through 71. 2011 was an eye-opener for all of us. I had no desire whatsoever to work through a 2011 flood. Thing about killed me. I know, I can't imagine what it did to you all. But anyway, that it happened. And the levees that were burst here, the spur levee, this one, I can't do this. Oh, there it is. See that spur levee? I'm already messed up. The spur levee we had that broke in Tipton County, Lake County there, and this is not good. I'll leave that alone. And then we had even mainline levees that were nearly topped. Up in Tipton County, northern Dyer County, where they put on, look, we see that gravel there where I wrote in there, mainline levee, 4 inches from overtopping. Yes, that happened. The river there level is to the right. You can see the level close to the gravel. We were that close to overtopping the inside, the levee from Tiptonville south to the Obion River. Okay, it was that close. After they put on 2 foot of fill. Now, the spur levee broke north of there, okay? At the same time that that spur levee broke, they were forecasting 3 more foot of water at Tiptonville. If that spur levee hadn't broke, it went over that levee. So, what I want to point out with this is that we're living in a very high, it's whatever the climate says, or whatever we're working with, our flood risk is as high as we've been ever, okay? And don't like to say that to you, but we're in a mess. I'm in a mess with you. Not as, I'm sitting there at the computer, but you're out there trying to get your equipment out of the way, everything. What's causing this? Well, you can see this, what happened last June. Look, we had El Nino last summer. Did you know, this is a take home, did you know that El Ninos like this cause late floods? Now what's a late flood? Kind of like what? July. How about June? And look at all this rain up in Illinois, Indiana, Missouri. That's 15 to 20 inches in those pink areas. That is a lot of rain. And sure enough, we started flooding. Okay? This was El Nino years. Now this is your take home. Tend to give you late floods. And unfortunately, I can't help you too much because you got to plant sometime. You can't wait till July to plant your corn or whatever it is, unless you got something that gets out in and out quick. For that reason, I said, was there a difference in the river heights in Cairo in the last 65 years between, let's say, the first 20-some years and the last 24 years or so? And holy cow, there it is. The blue line is 51 to 71. The red line is 92 to 2015. Now, if you look, it's hard to see, but I will just tell you that in both June and July, you have around an average height difference in those years of 7 feet. That is a big increase. And of course, we don't notice these things as time goes on. You're doing what you need to do to get things, done, and you can't remember as time goes on how these things change. That is a big increase, and it's coming from what? These monster Midwest rains. They're more often. They come from what we call a complex of thunderstorms that develop in the eastern plains, and they come east through the night, and you see these paths. See how those pink areas are in path? They look like in a path. Anyway, that's one of those thunderstorm complexes. In this case, remember, Tropical Storm Bill came up and was in a southwest part of Missouri and worked its way into the area, and then a kind of like a confluence zone set up, and lo and behold, that's how you get your late El Nino year rains, okay? So we have this, look at this. You got this increase in gauge height, and all these increases in gauge height, remember, all the rain in the Midwest practically comes past Cairo. This area, like Dyer County, is doubly blessed, triply blessed. They can get 18.7 inches in 30 days right there in Dyersburg all by themselves. That's going to flood things. They also could get all that big flood from what? Coming up from Jackson, Hawaiian River. I mean, it's really frustrating. But then the third whammy is Mississippi River backing up. Okay? Here's what the averages, however, don't really catch it. This is average, but this tells a story here. And this is what you need to take with you. Please remember this, that you look there in the 50s, you got maximum stage in May 51 through 2015. Back in the 51 through 71, there were 2 episodes where it was 45 feet at Cairo, 6 from 72 to 91 that were above 45 feet, and 11 above 45 feet in 92 through 2015. Now, this says there's a 550% increase. And you don't have to have Al Gore to say whether that's significant. It's hitting you smack in the face. And you all that farm there know this better than I do. You're getting caught more often. What about June? Are you getting more June floods? Well, you bet. Back in the early part, you're getting 2, middle part 4, 11, and about 40 foot. Now look, back here I was talking about 45 foot. Remember that you begin to have problems in Lauderdale County with backwater, and also Dyer County with backwater when you're at 40 foot Cairo. Right, really, between the levees, it's well into the flood game, okay? Unless you have a chick levee, like Jimmy does. Anyway, you're in the flood game at 40 feet. It's backing up the Obion River, the Fork of Deer is going down in Chisholm Lake. Things are really backing up fast, up Cold Creek, anyway, you got a big increase in May and again in June. Now, so at 45 feet, remember the flood stage at Cairo is 40 feet. So you're having flooding there over half the years in May from Cairo being at 40 feet or above. But, so you're really taking a chance. What we're trying to do here, I don't know, I've been working with Fulton Farms and others through the years, and you really want to get a good handle on what? When to plant. You plant too soon, get a flood, you're done. You want to kind of like what? Know when to levee up, when to build levees, how high to build them. You'd also like to know how soon you should harvest, like say, wheat, get it out of the fields. And so that's what we're working on here, trying to find a good time or look at the really risk factors in May, June, and what about July? Well, there it is again. We don't get many July floods, but the 48.7 in July of 2015, which came as a result not only of the rain we had in June, but of rain we had in July up in the Midwest. So here's our 500% increase in July floods. And okay, now that's go on to the same. So I'm just saying, many record heights now have been set for the last 25 years. Yes, sir.
Getting close.
5 minutes? Good gravy. Okay, here's some of them. January 2016, 56 feet. That's second highest, April 11, 59, May 11, 62. The record, June 95, 54, July 2015. Okay? Here's what you get last 30 days for that monster rain we had that just caused this flood that we had just recently. Here's the April 2011 rain. It was a La Nina rain. Take this home and write this down. If you have La Nina in the spring, that's pretty strong. You need to be watching out for floods up the Ohio Valley. That's something you need to understand and write it down. That's something pretty good chance you're going to have a problem, because the April rain was followed by May rain in a La Nina year, and we had a tremendous flood. Now, July 2015 is El Nino. You get it both coming and going. And so El Nino gives you late floods. Look at there, your July rain, El Nino. Okay, so our flood records last 24 years, flood heights are greater, you expect more floods during the summer, and you can have more frequent floods. But the long-term thing is to look 10 to 25 years ahead. I doubt if I have time with this, but the climate models, and I'm talking about climate models put together by scientists and not Al Gore, to provide you some trends. Here's one. Look at the top line, the ziggy-zaggy goes generally up. You have a blue line, that's year 2000, then you have the red dots, right, or observed rainfall. from 1960 to about 2000, it was pretty even trend. Then it went up. The model predicted this, though. This was a climate model run from 1960 to 2000 on supercomputers. And the period we're in right now, it had to stay at this level. Then about 2025 is going to go up some more. And did that model have any validity? Yes. Look at the red dots. The red dots are water or rainfall, and they went smoothly along until about 2000, and then the red dots started to climb. All this was taken out of data from Iowa. All the Iowa water runs off into the Mississippi River. This is a surrogate for the Midwest. If you can say it's going to rain raining a lot more up in Iowa, Illinois in the summertime, like I just showed you, then you're going to have a lot more flood problems. These, like you did in January 2016, there's 56 feet up there by running Railfoot Bayou, whatever ditch, whatever that's called, Fulton County, Kentucky. That's January 1st, and January 1st in Lake County, Tennessee. It's just pretty pictures, but it's not pretty. But it's prettier than in May. I mean, in July.
Sure.
Okay. And then, so now we're going to have risk is higher than in 51. Risk will stay high next 10 years. Even higher risk as the century wears on. And that's a wild guess, but anyway, there's some validity to it, both in the data that has been taken that I analyzed and also from a climate model that I looked at, that I had some validity taken out of Iowa State University by Gene Tockley, who for this study and others got a Nobel Peace Prize. So this guy's sharp, and I trust him, and it looked like it's something we could work with. Anyway, I'm still in business at the Weather Service. I believe we're at an age where we're going to have 100-year floods around every 20 years. Does that make sense? A big flood. If you need to hear or help, I'll help you with what I can. There's my email. Write it down. I've got a buddy list. I do. All people that I work with. If you want some help, I send out an email every day or so, and I think it helps some. Anyway, that's my story. You really have got a mess on your hands, and I would never pick out that place to farm. I really would. Because you need to sell this water. I mean, there's a lot of water somehow. It's like sitting on a gold mine. You never pan the gold. You know, you need to sell this water, which is gold, and somehow get it out there in California where they need it. I think I've seen some of you folks that lived in northern or in the Lauderdale bottom, South bottom. Were you there the 2nd of January going through the water?
That's right where I farm. Most of my farms you've been showing pictures of.
Oh, really?
In Lake County. That's
Lake County?
Lake County.
That's the story, and again there, I'm here, I'm going to help you all I can, and I can add you to my buddy list. Yes, sir.
Are these most recent floods bigger than the floods of 27 and 29?
Well, 27, yes, 37, about 6, well, it depends on what month, what year you're talking about. 37 has some high floods that are bigger than what I've been talking about. But all these months I showed you with these floods are records, okay, of some sort. But don't be discouraged. It's not all your fault that we're having all this rain. Look, in July of 1844, there was a 46-foot crest at Cairo. And this year, the 48.7. Now, so nobody can blame that. There was no pollution in 1844. So it's high then, it's high now. But, in my opinion, it's not man that's doing this. It's ultimately, we're all depending on God. The Lord sends these things through, and he's in control of this. It's not really mankind, And, but anyway, that's the story. Thank you for letting me speak with you. I thought I had Jimmy thought I had a message. I hope it was.
I know you got one, I don't think it.
So Gene, the 51 to 71 was pretty relative.
Yes.
Could we go back to that time period or that weather pattern, or what was different in that weather pattern?
I haven't analyzed that. All I know is Cairo had a more even, lower crest kind of thing than it did in 92 to 2015. And there was a lull there where it was lower. I don't know why. But you see, Cairo represents the whole Midwest. Ohio River, Missouri River, Mississippi River, and the Cumberland and the Tennessee rivers, all of them. So when we're putting, it's like squeezing them together and making scrambled eggs out of it. Everything comes past Cairo, and it's hard to get a pattern that fits this. And certainly, El Nino is not consistent with this. But oh yeah, I'll give you something else. Well, and you haven't run me off. So,
No.
So anyway, it's coming, what's gonna happen? Okay, January is pretty well set. Well, into the first week of February, I think the river's gonna go down, okay? But this is just the beginning of the flood season. I believe with what we have going on, what we're expecting to see, look, El Nino is strong now, but it's going to get moderate to weak by April and May. With that in mind, you're getting back more to the normal thing that you would see from the river declining El Nino going to neutrality, meaning, okay, April and May will be what? Our flood months, like usual, okay? March is the highest one, but during El Nino years we got strong going toward neutral, right? You then have April, May floods. Well, that's the best I have to say to you, because I looked at the surrogate years, and that's what you have. And those surrogate years, averaged all together, give you floods in April and in May of 50 to 55 feet, meaning about like you had in January. Okay, remember that pretty well, but anyway.
You mean this just last week, January?
Yes,
That's pretty high flood.
56 is high. Yes, it is. But it's like, okay, I just mentioned, you get used to these things, and pretty soon you don't think, 56 feet, well, what is that? It is a high flood. But you had down there at Morganza, you had the Arkansas, the red coming in that were in tremendous flood. Worse than this up here, up in Cairo, right?
Right.
Right. But I'm fighting the fight with you, and I want to help you all I can, so just, there's my email. Send me an email, and I'll put you on my buddy list, and we'll work this out together and fight it together, okay? Thank you for